Hi folks, I'm Josh and welcome to Strange Adventures. I'm going to take you through a few simple steps that will help you set up a online role-playing game, whether this is system agnostic. It doesn't matter what system you're using, who you're playing with. This is some simple tools that will really help you to get into it, whether it's dice rolling, whether it's video applications. There are so many options, and I know people are starting to go a little stir crazy during COVID as they're self-isolating. So playing with your friends is a really good escape. Making up worlds, making up stories, having a good time together, I feel like is a great way to bust out of your home and have a good time, even though you can't be together in a physical space rolling dice. There are ways. There are dice rollers, there are video apps, there's voice apps, and I'm going to talk you through some etiquette and tools that you can use to do that with your friends. So first, there's a bunch of really great apps that you should take a look at. Of course, everyone's used to using things like Slack and Discord for connecting with friends over voice, video, text, whether it's play-by-post or whether it is a weekly session that you do where you talk it through like a normal tabletop RPG. Have your game of D&D. Now, there are a couple of bots that you can add to Discord. There are things like Dice Parser, D&D bot. They let you add in a bot to Discord, whether you've encountered this before or not, that lets you type in a dice roll. It will actually randomize some dice for you and then come up with an answer. It's kind of clunky. It could be better. So, if you're getting together with your friends and you are like, we need a map to put down little icons to see how close we are to the monsters or, movement, distance measuring, there are more advanced versions of that than just using a dice roller on Discord. If you want to level up, you can go to Roll20, which I have used a lot and I highly recommend for both battle maps and dice rolling. I have also started to take a look at things like Foundry Virtual Tabletop, which is apparently amazing if you want to play Warhammer Fantasy, that version of the D100 game. Apparently it's so well organized and supported by the community. Definitely take a look at Foundry Virtual Tabletop. That one, instead of being in a browser, that is hosted on one person's computer, and then all the other friends connect to that computer with passwords and IP addresses. So I guess be careful giving out your IP address, but that is very, very handy. I haven't used it personally, but I've talked to my friend Hydra, who does a videoed actual play. So if you want to check out how that works for a couple of different systems, go check out Airsick Hydra on YouTube. And he says it's really, really good and has all sorts of capabilities and a whole bunch of rules available as well. If you're into actually moving physics-based things, I have used Tabletop Simulator before, and honestly I don't like it that much. It's not great for recreating the tabletop experience. What it gives you in the ability to place actual miniatures of heroes and monsters and scenery, it takes away in people's focus from being able to imagine what is happening and then get creative with the actions and their consequences. It gets kind of bogged down in that, which is weird because I've tried miniatures in real life and it helps in that way. And people, I don't know, it's weird. Being virtual, I really don't like it. But if you're into that, then I won't say no, because it has physical dice simulation and also grid locking capability, so you can like measure how far things are in like feet or squares or whatever you need for your game. I also recently started to check out Fantasy Grounds, which is very similar to Foundry and Roll20 in that it has capabilities for maps. It has the ability to give you a whole bunch of rules just out of the box. You can. It's quite expensive comparative to something like Roll20 or other free tools that you can use, but it has most of what you need. And if there's anything extra you want to add in, then it has the capability of you being able to type in stuff yourself. I really like the combat tracker. That's a very cool addition that something like Roll20 doesn't do well. And like I said with Foundry, you can have your friends connect to your computer through the program. It's not browser-based, which allows for a slightly less laggy experience than something browser-based like Roll20. Right. All of the ways that I've just said are totally valid that you can play your game. Now we're going to get on to, I'm just going to list a few ways you can do voice chat or video chat. Zoom's great. Costs a bit if you want to do more than 40-minute sessions. Skype, if you hate yourself, I guess. I really don't like Skype. Personal preference, right? But I hate Skype. I guess that's Teams now, Windows Teams, whatever. I don't like it anyway. Google Hangout works just fine. The video and voice chat in Roll20 is not great. Maybe find an alternative. Discord works fine. Slack works fine. And the reason I am listing these off super quick is because it doesn't matter what you are using. I want to talk to you about Etiquette at the virtual table, because I feel like that is something that is important and can often get missed out when you're trying to have a fun game with each other at the table. And all of the things that I say here apply to both physical joining up to play games, but also it's doubly important when you're technically by yourself, sat at your computer with a million more distractions, like you're directly at your computer. So you could be looking at Reddit, or you could be playing a game at your screen, or you could be, looking at your phone. No one would notice. But these distractions are definitely something you want to try and avoid. If you are playing Animal Crossing, and I mean, I love that game right now. I'm playing a lot of it. If you're playing Animal Crossing while your friends are role-playing, you will take yourself out of the fun, because part of the enjoyment for me, and I think people will recognize this as well, that I have when I'm watching my friends role-play or make decisions or and ah and try and decide what they're up to, and having conversations with the GM or other players, even when my character is not there, is part of the fun. So if you deny yourself that, you will kind of be less invested, not only in your own character's place in the story, but also in the other characters. I think being present while you're even not playing is important to respect your friends and kind of make them feel good about the fact that they're having a good time role playing and that you want to hear their part of the story. I'm rambling now, but I feel like you being distracted while your friends are having a good time is kind of rude. Just plain and simple. I just want to really get that fact across. Which brings me on to a pet peeve of mine, which is microphones. Not everyone uses a microphone day to day like I do, so they might not understand that typing sounds coming through the microphone or breathing or munching is I don't know how everyone else feels about this. I don't like to listen to it. Maybe consider muting yourself or placing your microphone here at, I know I just bumped the microphone, but placing your microphone at a reasonable distance from your mouth so that people can't hear that. Unless they're really into ASMR. I don't know what your friends are into. But be mindful of how your microphone is activating, because that's not normally something that happens at the table. Obviously, like, people will be shuffling papers at a real physical table. Maybe people will be eating, but you won't be hearing that. They don't normally like get right up in your ear when they're doing it. So it's weird to have to consider these new things. Obviously, it's not something you can always help, but just be mindful of it, and hopefully you won't annoy your mates. If anyone else has any tips or suggestions that they might like to add, then leave them in the comments or in the Discord if you're a patron or a Twitch subscriber, because that is how I am helped to produce these things. And now I'm pointing at the background. I noticed there might be a little bit of blood on there. Don't worry about it. It's not mine. I've just gone a little stir-crazy for being locked in for a few weeks now. So, yeah, cheers for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed. And until next time, goodbye.